Let's do some mixing in Waveform free. Alright, as far as I can tell, there's no like aux channels or tracks or anything like that. The closest thing I found in this here, like I can't even see like any sense. So maybe I'm not looking in the right spot, or maybe somebody else knows better than I do and they could let me know. That would be awesome. We're gonna go ahead and do some mixing on this track, which was, let's go ahead and listen to it. We're going to go into our console here, and we are going to find this little thing that shows the outputs. Since I can't find any like aux channels or anything, I'm thinking that we might be able to kind of finagle one and send a channel to an aux if we need to. I don't know if we'll use that or not, but we're going to keep that handy just in case. If you ever, and also if you ever wanted to know where that was, that little knob here shows you where all of your tracks are going. So I could probably take, say, this guitar and send it to the Vox. You know what I mean? And then the Vox goes to the main out. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and undo that. This one will involve us listening to the song quite a lot today. And we're going to be mainly focusing on the prints that we had created, these colored ones that are not shaded out. And full disclosure, this is how I would do it. I am not a professional. I'm just a dude in his own little world and studio. Do as you please. And there are kind of rules, but not really rules. You just kind of, do what sounds right. And I like to use my ears a lot rather than worrying about the knobs. So if I do something that you wouldn't do, that's great for you. I hope that works for you. But for me, this works and it will work. And I'm sure we'll all be happy with how the outcome of it is. So the first thing I typically do is turn everything down all the way. So I'm going to grab all of the tracks that have something on it and just, I'm going to mute everything. So we're just going to go ahead and shut all that down. And there is a better way. I know you could go in and do your little Alt Control command, but I'm just doing this to show everybody exactly what I'm doing. So right now when I hit play, nothing is going to happen except a metronome, which we're done with. So we're going to go ahead and shut that off. This is what we hear. So I typically go with drums first. I get the volume of the drums where I would like them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here at this master volume and bring up the wrench. And then when I do start messing with the volume, I'm going to hit play and start bringing up the drums where I want them. Now, I don't necessarily want them at 0 because we're going to be adding a bunch of instruments as well, and we want to have room for that. So, we're just going to make a little bit of room, and we can always modify and stuff later on as well. That's 2 or 3 dBs of room there, and we'll see if we can add something else into it and see how that goes. So let's move into the bass here. Check my little wrench again. let's bring in our guitars here. I want to bring them in together. Okay, let's bring in our little lead part here. Check our wrench. Alright, now we're going to start messing around with some, maybe some plugins and stuff like that. Most of them I'm going to try to use stock plugins, but there's also things that I just like, so we might use those as well. Let's maybe start with the drums again, now that we've got everything kind of leveled out where we want it, and see where we can go. I think having an EQ, maybe a compressor, possibly a limiter is going to be beneficial. Let's see. What's Wave's got first? Waveform. Effects. Let's do a simple 3-band EQ and see if we can't get a little bit more out of the drum. Okay, so as far as I can tell on these, this here little 3-band EQ is that this is practically a volume knob. And these are, low, mid, and high. The frequencies of a low, mid, and high. So the best thing that you can probably do is to do drastic changes and adjust from there. So like when we're playing it out, and you can hear it. Okay, so the bass sounds kind of good right now to me, but if we wanted to remove some of it, we would pick the frequency you want, turn it all the way down. See, there's no more bass. Like at all, which isn't necessarily what we want. Now, I don't mind getting rid of, maybe 100, just a bit. And then in the mids, we could, how does it sound if we turn that down? There goes our snare. You only get the bass, so. Alright, and that sounds fairly okay to me. Nothing major change-wise. Let's go ahead and try out, they had a compressor as well. I'd like to try out that compressor. Alright, so we got a threshold, we got a ratio, attack, release, knee, and output. Threshold is going to be where we want it to kick in. The ratio is going to be how much of the compressor we want. The attack is going to be when the compressor starts To initiate, the release is when it's going to be slowly or speedily going away. Knee is how far you want that to bend. So if you bend the knee, you see the curve over here, it does sharpen up how quickly it's going to bounce in and out. And then output gain is going to be what we hear on the output of it. So we're just going to leave that alone for right now. And then mess with threshold. Let's see. Around like -5, -6. We'll do a... maybe we'll try a 20-to-1 ratio. And kind of fast attack. Kind of fast release. I think we'll probably keep it around 7. And then maybe boost it about 2 dB here. And I don't need, I mean, the knee doesn't need to be like super sharp. It could fade up a little bit, that's fine. Now we're getting to around -1 dB on our sensor, and the compressor is kicking in a little bit. This is without. This is with. Just a small bit of compression, nothing gigantic or major. And I think there was a limiter as well. Let's see if they have one. Yeah, there is a limiter. We'll see if that makes any kind of a difference or on sound. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're just doing a light little mix today. Your gain is how much is coming in. The release is going to be how fast it goes away. And the ceiling is where you want it to stop. Like, where can no noise go past? So I kind of want -1 dB on the ceiling. And the release, we might fiddle with that. Let's play through and see how it sounds. It's kicking in a little bit. But again, minor adjustment, minor adjustment. Let's pull it up on our... This is without and with. All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and move into the bass. It's just a little mix, just a little mix. All right, so let's see what Waveform has for our bass guitar. We're probably honestly gonna be doing quite a bit of the same. Let's try this one band EQ. What's that about? Yeah, we'll throw a one band EQ on it. Okay, sure. I'm only doing this because I think it's fun, so we're just fiddling honestly right now. And it does help in the little screen here. It shows you what your band looks like. So you can actually see it, like, so if I make a drastic change, you can actually see that in the window here and in the window here. So if you ever get lost, you can kind of at least look at it a little bit and be like, oh, okay, that's way too much or way too little or whatever like that. There we go. And let's add a compressor to that. same deal as the drums, just kind of feel your way around. With the exception, I'm going to do a 2-to-1 ratio instead of the 20. Okay, and then I think we're going to actually leave that one be there. For the guitars, since we've done the same thing twice over here, let's maybe change it up for the guitars. I do have a couple of plugins that, you know, they are paid, but they, yeah, they sound fine usually. So we're going to use this BG Guitars from Joey Sturgis on the guitars and see how well we like it. It's just a quick, simple thing. Depending on how it sounds, I might not even put an EQ on it. So I kind of want it to clamp, so I'm going to hit that and compress it. And I don't want it to spike in like crazy, but I'd like it to hit at least on the 5. And I want it a little brighter. I'm going to keep it at 100 mix. Harmony, yes or no? Yes. Okay, and we're literally going to do the same exact thing on this other one. Because you want them to be kind of the same. So we're just going to, this is the left track, this is the right track. We're going to literally copy everything. These two here, I guess we could do something for them. So yeah, we're going to add another Joey Sturgis there. And I know, I did say that I was going to be... It just seemed kind of redundant to be showing you the exact same thing over and over again. Yeah, sure, it's different parameters and stuff, but I mean, you get the idea. We're going to EQ, we're going to compress, we're going to limit, and then we're going to level everything out again. This is just me kind of like goofing off now and making sure that it sounds cool. And I think this plugin will help it sound cool. In the VU meter, what I'm hoping for is like, I don't want it so clamped down that you get no dynamics, which is why I don't want to like go to 10 or 20 or whatever like that. But the goal for me is going to be right around the 4 or the 5 of the VU meter, and preferably not having the line just stick there. You know, bouncing on the high bits is the goal, but you know, you do what you can. So those two are the same, and then let's add it to that one there. And do the same thing, and you obviously adjust for what you need to adjust for. There we go. Now, see, for these, I'm hearing that it could be brought up a little bit more, but either in volume or EQ. So we're going to add an EQ to the solo prints here, and we'll use let's try our one band EQ, and maybe we can change the order of how they are. Yeah, so the EQ is going to go first. I kind of want to bring up somewhere in between the mids and highs on this because of that. It's so hard to hear it. I don't want it drown out. I don't want a sharp Q either. I kind of want like a little rounded, but not like super rounded. And then we'll grab another one for here, one band EQ, and the Q just a little rounded. And that does help them come out a little bit. I might actually change this one just a tiny bit more than the previous one. Yeah, that sounds okay. And little side note for this marker up here, this playhead marker. The bane of my existence. I, honest to God, hate this thing. But I was clicking up here and trying to get it to work, and it does work sometimes, especially if you double click it, it does work. But I've just been going like literally in this marker section. So I have my little key thing and clicking there and it brings it there. And hopefully that helps somebody. All right, so let's hear it out a little bit. And now that we've kind of messed with everything, I kind of want to turn everything back down again and send them to a sub bus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another track, add a track, and I'm going to see if I can't get, we'll call it, there's a submix track as well. I don't know how to really work that, so we're just going to rename this and see how it goes. We're going to call this our mix bus. There we go. And then I'm going to attempt to send everything we've done over to it so we can use it as like a volume button so that it doesn't affect the master. So click down here at the default. And then we're going to send it to our new mix bus and see how many we can actually send over to the mix bus. Okay, cool. We can send them all. And the vocals didn't have anything on them, so we don't really have to worry about that. So now, in theory, we should be able to use this as a volume control for everything. So that way, I'm going to have all of it feed into the mix bus, and then the mix bus is going to go through these so that we can make minor adjustments to the volume without having to highlight all of these tracks every time we need to make a minor adjustment to the whole mix. And I am aware that there is a submix bus, but when I clicked it and added one here, I was unable to send it like I am now, any of my tracks to that bus, which is why I opted not to use it. But at least this way, I can physically see what's going into my mix bus. So let's go ahead and highlight everything in the tracks. So I think you have to click up here, Shift, Control, Alt, and then highlight to here. And then we're going to grab the volume knob and drag everything down. So now we are starting with 0 sound. Okay, and we're going to do what we did in the very beginning. And now that we have our EQs and compressors on. So let's get it all set up. And I'm going to have the mix bus be the tracker that we use. So we have to click it up there. Okay, that's our drum. And I'm going to drag this up a little bit so I can see the levels a little better. click up here, Shift Alt, and then click here. Okay, and then get our lead little bit done too. Okay, now what we can go ahead and do is really kind of just focus on the mix bus volume up and down. So we're going to grab that and bring our wrench in. And see, right now we're hitting about minus 4 dB, and the benefit is we can just take this whole thing and raise it up. See, we're starting to clip, so let's bring it down a little bit. Okay, and that's pretty much it for now, and then we would do like a little bit of mastering, which is just a teeny bit more EQ, a teeny bit more compression, and a teeny bit more limiting. So this is your finished product for now, and next time we'll go in through the EQs and stuff. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 different ways you could do it. Maybe some free ways and some paid ways, and kind of just go through how to get it to the level you'd like. But right now we were hitting, I think, about -2 without clipping, so that's really good. And then once we get our mastering done, we'll get it up to that 0 dB mark and start really kind of paying attention to like luffs and volume. And this marker here, I'm going to start it back over here at this bar 1 and get rid of the console and hit our little F, my favorite little button in this thing. And I think that's going to be about done for today. Next time we'll get into some mastering tips. I am not a master engineer in any way, shape, or form. I only know what I know how to do. So I think the plan is going to be, let's use the Waveform free plugins for the master and see how it sounds and maybe export it. And then maybe pick one of these free or one of these paid mixing, mastering kind of plugins. I have a couple of them. One of them is called the God Particle. So maybe we'll do it with the God Particle as well. And maybe compare the two, one versus the other, and like you decide on which, you choose your adventure. You decide which one you like the best. And I think actually what the plan is to take this song and kind of make it the intro of this channel a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to serve the purpose that it needed to serve. You learned how to record in Waveform. I had a little bit of fun. I'm sure I'm going to look forward to the comments telling me how everything I've done is wrong. Okay, cool. I get it. Everybody does their own thing. And music is very, very dependent on you and what you like and how you like it and how you do things. So never let anybody spoil your fun when you're just having fun. So, I run another channel called Recall the Podcast, and I'm in a band called Recall the Moment. I'm going to leave the link in the description for both of those channels as well, so you can sit and talk or see me talk to other bands or the music that my band works with and writes. So, yeah, until then, thank everybody for supporting the channel and me, and I really appreciate it, and peace and love.